across the country, protesters collapsed today after where ICE operates. At least three people were taken away in handcuffs. They were deployed chemical spray. The victim is 37 Renee Good, a U.S. citizen. She was a legal observer of federal actions in the city and was not a target for an ICE-related. And we're now learning more about the ICE officer who fired the fatal shot. Officials identify him as Jonathan Ross. Court records show he started with ICE in Minnesota back in 2017. The chief correspondent Matt Gutman is live in Minneapolis right now. So Matt, what is the scene like right now?
Julie, 12 hours after about 700 protesters right here lined this side of the street. There is still this face-off between, on the one hand, you can see the pain are still protesting. Big march, but across churches planned elsewhere, and there's still concern that just one spot far, it has not happened yet.
Well, Matt, we do know the name of the ICE officer who fired the fatal shot. What else are you learning about him?
To make
I got a video up. I got a video uploading. Well, it's exporting, then I'm gonna import it and upload it to YouTube, so you guys could check it out. It's pretty dope. It's a live I did previously, probably like a month ago, and it's talking about how to make money online. If you guys looking to start your own online business, even if you don't have any ideas, I have over 200 product ideas for you guys to get started and launching your own online business with digital products. What I have is e-courses to teach you guys high income earning skills, step by step. It's a business in a box. Also, for entertainment purposes, what I do have for you guys is a little more information about the Minneapolis, Minnesota situation with ICE. My personal opinions about it is just mind your business. You can't insert yourself in everything thinking that you're going to make a major difference. Sometimes you got to have discernment to know, like, okay, I'm going to witness something, and that's going to be that, and I'm going to send information to the right people to handle that situation. Just like people will be like, "Oh, go to God about it," and sometimes that's all you really need to do. Allow God to fight your battles. Not out here trying to go hand to hand with these demons, and you're not fully equipped. What she could have did, what she would have did, should have did doesn't really matter because she's not here anymore. But let this be a eye opener for you guys. You see something going on, especially with the police, film it. Just like with the guy that happened in New York with the cigarettes, George Floyd, I believe. I don't know. I was locked up when this situation happened, but it wasn't the last, and it's not going to. It wasn't the first, and it's not going to be the last. But what I did learn from that situation is that there was always somebody watching. There's always somebody a witness, and the guy who was there watching and witnessing what happened, he had it on camera. And of course, it's a hard thing to tell the truth. Sometimes you're prosecuted for telling the truth. The truth isn't a nice and easy thing to be dealt with, right? That's why so many people get rewarded for being a liar and for telling lies. But at the end of the day, the truth comes to the light regardless. And for those of you who hold on to the truth and are a part of the truth, you have nothing to worry about. But this lady, she really just hopped in the way, and she allowed herself to be an example of how not to. I would have just stopped the car and left it right there. I would have never put myself in a situation. I don't know who these people was after, or what type of situation they had going on prior to her hopping in the mix, but that was the wrong move to do.
Motorist did not stop, did not heed commands, smashed the back window, tried to
Happened with the
unlatch.
officer involved with this current situation in Minnesota. This happened 6 months ago, where he was at a stop, and the suspect drove off with him hanging onto the car for a couple blocks. So that situation there is traumatizing. Not saying that he didn't deal with his trauma correctly, but at the same time, it's like when you're out in the field in a public service industry, like I do, as far as public relations industry, not the public service, but there are two in the same. Public relations is more like a car wash, or like a consultant, or like a PR, right? Somebody who helps the images of entertainers, something like that. That's more what public relations are about. And what you do, you have a service for the public and or products. Now, public safety, you already should know, like this is cops, it's the ambulance, it's the fire department, etc. Right? Anyway, back to the point before I digress. These situations cause you to interact with the public quite often, and frequently you learn from situations with dealing with people in public settings and or online. You have social media where so many people want to post, or whether you live or are pre-recorded and people are commenting. You're dealing with the public. You can easily lash out for somebody giving you a bad review, or you could go about making a fool of yourself for a viral moment, and people lash out on how you conducting yourself as far as your behavior, right? But anyway, back to the point. him dealing with the public as far as public safety, somebody put him in a dangerous situation where he could have lost his life. A vehicle can be considered a deadly weapon if used the wrong way. And what they did was set him up to the situation where he was in today, where the lady tried something similar with a vehicle and he didn't take any chances on his safety. I'm not saying that they don't have training to where they can do differently, but at the same time, like, you don't know how people will respond. Not everybody's going to react the same way, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. What I am saying is that you fuck around, you find out how you're going to get dealt with different people. You know, you don't go around testing people. Not everybody's going to talk to your ass. Not everybody's going to be as simple, as smooth as you want them to be. And the thing about that is having discernment. You know, you don't go running up on everybody. You don't go hop in everybody's business because that might be your last day. It's not funny at all, you know. But at the end of the day, like, let's use our brains. This is called a drifter. This is a clear example of a drifter. Someone who not using their brains. They're going around with the ways of the world. You know, that type of mindset of how you in these type of situations. And what I mean by a drifter is somebody who don't think for themselves. Majority of the world is on picking a side, whether you want to be with ICE or whether you want to be with the um, immigrant, right? The whatever you call them, because nobody on earth is an immigrant, if you ask me, because God created this earth and He created us, so therefore everything is all evolved, depending on what we do with it or whatever, right? So just first and foremost, that type of mindset isn't the wrong way to be thinking as far as competition and competing and division, diversion. Once you find yourself aligning your thoughts with the world, that's a big red flag. It just leads you to death, destruction, chaos, and sickness even quicker than you imagine or quicker than you hope for. Now, to be holy is to be set apart from the world, to have a different type of mindset. Type of mindset that I'm telling you guys that I have, the way that I view the world, my point of view. My point of view is this. We all know that injustice happens. We know that the law enforcement aren't perfect. And we all know that people in the world are going to do what they can do. They're going to try to get away what they can get away with. You know, you give them a little room to skate and they're going to do it. With that being said, is just you have to pick and choose your battle, you know. Um, I've had a lot of situations where I've dealt with law enforcement and they haven't treated me fairly. But at the end of the day, I still walk away with my life, right? I've had a lot of situations where I've witnessed things that wasn't so right. But at the end of the day, you know, I help these people get justice and I still leave that situation with my life being a helping hand. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And if you don't have a sense of how to do things, therefore you should not even be involved. But yet and still this world will tell you that, hey, let's go focus on this, let's focus on that. See, where the mind goes, the attention goes, and the energy goes as well. You spend your mind, okay, you spend your time using your mind to think about ISIS and what they're doing and where they're at. You're gonna have your energy over there in their business doing, seeing what they got going on, you know. If she didn't spend a lot of time thinking about ISIS, worrying about ISIS or whatever they got going on, her energy want to have her in that car in that situation. So that's what I mean by what I say where the mind goes, the attention goes, and the energy goes as well. That's why I advocate for mental health awareness so much because the mind is the constant battle. It's the constant battle of the day. You know, if you could control your thoughts, if you could think about what you're thinking about and analyze if this is something that I should take action for, if this is the type of thought that makes me feel good, is this type of thought makes me want to move on my desires to have a better life. You know, everybody, it's we're 8 days into this new year. 9 days ago, everybody was talking about new year, new me. This new year, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But if your energy is not going into doing this and doing that, you're just wasting your breath, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting your energy, even saying that you're gonna do this and do that. And when you waste your energy, you don't have any energy to go do the things that you truly desire and needs to do. That's why so many people live with regret because they waste their time thinking about things that doesn't benefit them. Their action goes to continuously quoting those thoughts and their energy goes into manifesting whatever situation those thoughts have them do. And it's like this, right? You have thoughts. You either want to grow this one by continuously thinking about it and putting effort and energy into it, emotions into it, or you're going to dead that thought and you're going to bring birth into something different. You're going to come counter, I want to say counteract, but you're going to combat that thought, right? So this, what all highly successful people have in common that anybody can have is passion and purpose. And why do I say this? Is because when you have passion, you have a purpose in life. You're going to continuously try to do that thing no matter if you fail or succeed. Nothing's going to stop you from living out your passion because that's your purpose in life. So many people don't know what their purpose in life is because they're so busy following behind the world. You don't have any time to get to know yourself. The only way to know yourself is to spend time with yourself. Spend time thinking about the things that you think about. Do the things you think about help you become a better person? If not, you need to start readjusting the way that you think about yourself. And this is self care, self love, whatever you want to call it. But it's important as far as mental health concerned. And if you guys are looking for tips and tools to manage stress and anxiety, you can grab the free blueprint below. I always drop daily, not daily blogs, but twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Talk with Team Angie Tuesdays and Thursdays. I drop that simultaneously with my newsletters that I drop every Sunday. So if you want to be a part of that, you join my email list and you will receive a copy. But also you will just receive two things within that newsletter is the blueprint. But besides the newsletter, you'll get the not the blueprint. I meant to say in the newsletter is the blog. So that's two in one. And then the blueprint is the step-by-step instructions and programs that I have for you guys looking to earn while you learn passive income online. Master reset, right? But anyway, yeah. Let's just start using our minds to think, right? Is what you're doing right now helping you become a better you? Is this going to put you in a position to where you're going to be able to sustain yourself, or is you going to be using your mind to be in people's business and not make it back home, like this woman that was in this situation? I'm not saying don't be concerned about what's going on in the world, but don't be in a mix to where you a part of the problem. And I'm not saying that ISIS is doing a good job. I'm not saying that the public is wrong because I don't know. I already stated how I feel about immigrants. None of us in this world are immigrants. All of us travel freely as we should. We're supposed to. The thing about it is the people in power, they're using it the wrong way. Power isn't a problem. It's how you use it. We all are powerful people. But how we decide to use that power can be a good or a bad thing. Just like the lady decided to use her vehicle as a weapon was a bad thing. I'm not saying that I don't even know what they're doing over there in Minnesota, but they've been in the news for the past 12 weeks since like I mean to say like the past 8 weeks. I know from like mid October, but the whole November I've been hearing about Minnesota and the Somalians, and this all ties back in with ISIS. They say they got the state funds have been misused by people fraudulent making claims as far as child care checks, unemployment, whatever the government money is dished out to these people. And I hate to say that, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but the Somalians, I have no hatred, no ill will, no intents like that on you people, on you guys. I apologize for saying you people. It's pretty racist when I hear myself say it. I don't really know how to express myself any other way. But just letting you know, there's no ill will when I say this. And anybody should be able to go anywhere as they please, like I say. The thing about that, and I don't know this to be true or not, because every state in here in America, they always misuse the funds. I don't know what they're doing with the stuff or not. All I do know for a fact is that me being a business owner, I don't receive any grants, loans, stuff like that. It's harder for me to receive help from my country, from the states I reside in, from state to state, whatever state I go to, whatever federal program they have funding business owners. I never really received any of that money. I'm 3 years in, and the first time I did receive anything was from the help of my cousin, like 20 bands, something like that, right? But yeah, so I'm like, I can't really be mad at the Somalians if they taking Minnesota money or not, because I don't know. All I know is my state never had money for me. Every other state I go to, they don't have a job for me. So I'm not mad at the Somalians. I'm not mad at immigrants at all. If anything, I'll be disappointed in my country and my country's leaders for the way that they handle our funds, our tax paying. We're tax paying individuals, and our money should be sent back to us at some point. I don't need to get income tax the way that the IRS play with my money. They froze up $30,000 of mine, and then with healthcare, and I'm just benefiting about stuff that I've been experiencing as far as my setbacks. But I'm more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. I don't really worry about finances. I don't worry about my health. I don't worry about anything. I just be frustrated at certain things, and that's that. And me being emotional intelligent, I'm allowed to be frustrated, but that doesn't mean my frustration will go out rippling effect to other people. Because I'm mad, that don't mean that I need to make you mad, and we share the energy of being mad. That's silly to me, and I don't engage and indulge in that. I can't. I don't condone that behavior at all. When people mad, give them the time to be mad or whatever, until it's disturbing you or whatever. But like shit, I'm not one of them type of people who put out negative energy. I'm not the type of person who soaks it up either. Shit, light and darkness cannot live in the same. So that's what it's basically about. If you're going to be a child of light, you're going to do lighthearted things. You're going to be in a higher vibration, which is trust, happiness, confidence. You manifest through those higher vibrational feelings. You're happy when you know that you have confidence. You're confident to know that you can manifest whatever you want because you're vibrating high. You trust yourself, right? And the total opposite of that, which are low vibrations, which is anger, um, depression, guilt, doubt, lack. You could go down that rabbit hole and stay down there. But those vibrations only lead to those experiences. Like I said earlier, where the mind goes, attention goes, energy goes as well. And energy repels energy. Meaning this, when someone's happy, they can make someone else happy. They share the happiness. That energy goes to find it. And also, not only that, when you're grateful, which is a very high tool to manifestation, when you're grateful about things, that energy comes for you to be more grateful, for more things to be grateful for. So yeah, that's energy repelling energy. It attracts light. But let's get back into this before it's too long, too out of context. But that's what's important about trauma, right? Mental awareness, emotional stability, emotional intelligence. Um, People put you in situations, and sometimes you put yourself in situations, but handle those situations is what matters. He handled that first situation pretty well, as far as the 6 months ago when they dragged him with the car. And I feel like he handled this situation pretty well when she took off in front of him, like, what will you have done? They're trained to disarm and dismantle threats. Not all the time they're going to disarm you. They're just going to dismantle you and toss your body in a bag and, go ahead and toss you in the trash. And prayers to the family, because she wasn't thinking about her kids when she was out there in that goofy shit. She wasn't thinking about nobody else but herself. And this is how the world has you thinking about yourself, putting yourself in situations that you cannot get out of. And God is always calling. Jesus is always calling. We don't answer his call. We don't want to hear his call because the world is so loud, the world is so noisy, and the world is what we pay attention to until the world grabs our soul and we're no longer a part of this realm, because this world was inevitable. We're going to always be here no matter what. But where you're going to be for eternity is what's important. When you get caught up in these worldly ideologies and these worldly events and activities, just remember that if this is where your last moment is this moment going to bring me closer to Christ, or is this moment going to have me in a situation that I don't know where I'm going to go after my soul leaves this body? We don't have a choice to live, but we do have a choice to die. We can take our life at any time. We don't have a choice in this matter. It was forced on us, but let's make the best of the life that we have. And also, let's not forget that this world is not the end. It's not the final destination. And for those of you who never think about your final destination, I encourage you to start taking a moment to use your brain and think about it, before the world have you a drifter and have you thinking like the world thinks, like this individual who just lost their life, drifting with worldly thoughts. The devil is roaming, he's looking to see who can kill, steal, and devour. at all times. If he can't steal from you, he's going to try to kill you. If he can't kill you, he's going to devour your mind to where you can't think for yourself, and eventually he got you. And that's the power of mindset, the power of mental health as well, because for a mind unguarded is a mind it's easy to use and manipulate it. It's kind of like chess, right? The pawns are the minds. You use these pawns to sacrifice them. They're really not valuable players unless they're in position to become upgraded, right? For those of you who know chess, it's a strategic game. And life is strategic as well. And if you're not moving strategically, you're going to find yourself in a position to be took out. And that's exactly what happened, right? You thinking like the world, you thinking you're going to go do this and do that. But the world is strategic as well. And once you go there thinking this and thinking that, you F around and find out that you wasn't thinking strong enough, strategically enough, and also that you just fell into the trap, like social media, the news, all of these distractions, right, to keep you focused on what's not important, so that you can miss out on what is important as far as these moves being made in the world. Some of this news is important, like the news, right? I mean, the news, the oil situation. And what do I do with this type of news? Let me show you all if I could. I pull up my chat, my co-pilot I use, and I was like, "Yo, how can I take advantage of this situation? Should I invest in oil stock?" I said, "What?" When they was telling me like short-term price bumps may happen, they'll go up a little bit, but as far as long-term, if Venezuela production ramps up again, you're going to be in a good position. But that's if it ramps up again. And different stocks to buy on different exchanges. Like I use Robinhood, I got cryptocurrencies on there. I just got paid on Uphold from having cryptos on there. I have three crypto exchanges that I make money on. One of them I have the most, which is Robinhood, and then Uphold I have a few bucks in there, a few cryptos, and then I have Binance. Well, I don't use Binance as much, but I do have money on there. But I use Bitcoin.com, and I got money on there, and I got cryptos on there. I got, but on the Uphold I got ATOM and Ethereum, which I get paid every Thursday for holding on to them. Also, this month I got paid from PayPal for having a stable coin, which is PUSD, which is a PayPal dollar, right? Stable coin. So that's the thing too, right? The news that they don't tell you about, the news that's not going to be pushed forward and forward, is about like the money. They just came up with a new bill, a new plan, so the government won't be shut down. I'm pretty sure people haven't heard about that, not aware of that. What they're going to do with these new funds, and et cetera, like that, right? If you guys have been missing out on this crypto bull run since the 28th of December, Solana has been going up. Majority, all of the cryptos has been going up. I just dropped a post as far as the links in my description as well. If y'all want to get y'all free $5 worth of stocks, all you need is a PayPal or some type of payment institution where you could load funds and withdraw funds, and to verify your account that you're a human being and you're going to be using that platform. It's passive income means this: little to minimum effort, initial investment time, and then you got money that comes in different amounts at different times. Like I have 4 programs: 1-900, 600, 300, 100. At any given time, as long as my link's out there and available, people can purchase my products. As long as my YouTube is pushing, people can purchase my art, my digital art. I have over 80 creations, and I have over 3 I say a lot, but I got 3 different art situations, just like 3 different crypto situations where I'm making money on all 3. So I got Night Cafe, PayHip, and then NFTs on OpenSea. On my NFTs, I got like 12 to 22 NFTs. I got 3 different folders of that. And then on my Night Cafe, I got over 100 some in my collection. And then on my PayHip, I got about 80 some pictures in there as well. And then the most expensive product I have is my e-courses, 900. And then as far as my art comes second, my highest NFT is probably like $7, not even that much. It depends on which ones is which. They all price different. And since Ethereum's been going up, the price of it is risen as well. So that's another thing, right? Like with cryptocurrency, you can purchase my NFTs with crypto and or with cash. But when I first dropped them, they was at a certain amount. But the prices go up, my portfolio goes up as well, and all of my collections goes up as well. So I priced it pretty low, but since the prices of Ethereum has been going up, the prices of my art has been going up as well. So while they're still affordable, you want to check them out, and while they're affordable to even make and create, you want to hop inside my mentorship program so that you can learn how to create your own NFTs and or your own cryptocurrency. I have my own cryptocurrency. I haven't launched yet. I'm still waiting on the updates of approval. And you guys will be able to purchase my cryptos. Hopefully, I'll be as big or even bigger than Bitcoin. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but I'm excited to launch. And with that, I help you guys learn what a smart contract is, how to use cryptocurrency to build cryptocurrency, which is Ethereum and Solana are two cryptos that you can use to make cryptos and or NFTs. And why those two? Because those two are a two-layer chain block cryptocurrency that you can create smart contracts through. And with my cryptocurrency that I have created, I created it with certain features, right? My crypto is not a two-layer crypto where I can create smart contracts from because I did it through the Ethereum network. Solana is pretty cheaper. You can make the same thing happen with Solana, but you know, it is what it is, right? I just learned this stuff last year and I'm still learning. Education never stops unless you choose to not learn, and therefore you won't know. You know, men lack knowledge, therefore they perish for the lack of knowledge. They don't want to learn, they don't know how to learn, and they don't know shit. So they don't be in position to elevate.
He had to get stitches. Was not seriously or incident. You know, it is something that people here are talking about, that this press is a pattern. But additionally to that, you know, there's a lot of fear officers. Many of them are masked, Juliet, very heavily armed. And the protesters that we've been talking to say that they're much more of them than they are of the police because they believe that these officers would be more willing to shoot people dead. So it is a very, very different kind of sentiment that we experienced perhaps in the George Floyd protest 5 years ago that rocked this, but really reverberated across the country.
Going freaking, man. They keep on cutting off. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play the video or not. But Minnesota got a lot going on. They need to really come together as a city, a state, whatever, and really start using their voices. You know, the way that they're going about doing things, I don't think that that's the right way to do it. But you know, if they protest enough, if they protest at the right spot, change can happen. I used to be a part of a activist team in Wisconsin, so they got a little weird. They was talking about selling souls and stuff like that. I don't know. Before I knew about the Illuminati and all of this cult type activity, I just had felt the vibes was off with them. Like it rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt the energy was kind of demonic. The money was coming from unions. I'm not saying anything about unions or what their activity or involvement was with these people, but they was funding them. It was like they had unlimited funds. We'd go across the state of Wisconsin. Me personally, I was doing speeches. I used my voice to elevate and educate. Been doing it for a very long time. I also can use my voice to curse, you know. If you want to be cursed or hexed or spellbound, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? I'll send them negative energies to you to deal with your ass like a fucking wizard. But that's the thing about having spiritual power, right? You know, God's on your side, he'll move on your behalf. It's kind of like witchcraft, the way that this stuff be happening so quick and so precise. But anyway, these people was getting a little weird. You know, I didn't want to be involved with whatever they had going on, whatever spiritual doors they had open. I wasn't finna allow that shit in my life. So I was like, I'm cool. And what we did was, and why I'm bringing this up, was because we went to the House of Representatives. I mean, not the House of Representatives. We went to the mayor's office. We protested in front of his shit before he got there. And when he got there, we asked questions. We went to basically all of the city official buildings. And we stood in front of that bitch until we talked to who we need to talk to. And we got shit done. And if not, we put you on blast. We had the news there, everything. And we was making shit happen, you know. And eventually stuff did change. It took a little while, it took a little effort, it took a little manpower, a little footwork, you know, boots on the ground, bootstrap, and we was doing the work. A lot of people don't want to do no work nowadays. This world is so automatic; it's making people automatically unreliable, inefficient. You know, can't think for yourself, lazy as fuck. Everybody want to do content creator because they don't want to get out and move anything, or everybody think they know something because of social media, because of the internet, because of AI. The truth of the matter is AI is just the same as you and me. It's just a conscious inside of this computer. Why do you think that these AI are so easy to do everything? Because they're in the spiritual world. You know, a consciousness inside this computer. It thinks like us, speaks like us. It really is us. This whole situation comes from us. You know, if you didn't know, so the mimic of an AI was mimicked off of a human being. The way that we function, the way that we behave, the way that we access and process data. We're just like human form computers, to be honest. If you know anything about technology, if you know anything about psychology, if you know anything about the human body analogy, things like that, you will look really deep down in the scope, you'll realize that we are the universe is us. And our consciousness, on the other hand, is similar to a computer, similar to a um, what they call it, a circuit board, right? If I break this computer down and you see the little chips and all of the wires and stuff, that's kind of like what our minds are like. I could get into the scientific stuff, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, those of you who are enlightened, who want to be enlightened, you will spend time getting to know yourself. And information that you need to maintain and survive will become available to you. That's what people call downloads, right? You have a sudden thought that comes to mind. It's a download. It's a frequency upgrade. Just like with these NFTs, it was a self download, right? I spend time with myself, and myself is sending me information that I need to better myself, that I could be living more authentic and doing the things that I was designed to do. Like my gift is to create art. I do it effortlessly. God blessed me with the talent to be able to draw. So being distracted by the world, I was doing worldly things, you know, working jobs and trying to figure out how to maintain and this and that. But at the end of the day, when I spend time meditating, spending time getting to know myself, the doors open up to be like, this is what you're made to do, and this is the way that you can do it and enjoy it and be successful and maintain your lifestyle. You know, you have the money you need. Like they say, if you do what you love and you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's so true. And you have time freedom. You'll be able to really figure out what you like and what you do. But the thing about this is making the right sacrifices. Sometimes you're not going to have it. And if you make the right sacrifices previously, you'll be able to be guided through your downtime, right? Through your hard time. Just like with celebrities, they don't always got it. That's why they stay on the road. That's why they stay doing shows because they need something to constantly coming in. And when they don't have anything coming in, they're doing favors for other people so that those people will look out for them. And vice versa, right? It's called reciprocity. Because sometimes they do it just out of the love, like different podcasts. They call on different people. Of course, they getting something out of it, but at the end of the day, they're building each other. Like Candace Owens, um, and these just people that I've just really started seeing. Like she speak her truth. She was the only one that I've seen going to these same stuff that I was doing, going into the public, using your platform to make real changes and to bring real awareness. She was in the House of Representatives. She go talk to the state and all of this stuff. Right, I seen her on YouTube videos in there talking to these people about the stuff that they doing and the stuff that they're not doing, as far as what they should be doing. I don't agree with everything she say or everything she does, but I do know she's a woman of a high class. She use her time and energy to try to put out justice. You know, whether she's doing it for personal gains or not, I don't know, and I really don't care. But just the fact that that's the start on them, and then after a while, I want to say psyops, like they're not speaking their truth anymore. You know, they go on here, they're so loud about expressing the way that they feel, their thoughts, the way that they think about things that's going on in the world, and then all of a sudden they're not saying anything. They're basically agreeing with whatever goes on, you know. And I'm like, wow, what happened to that raw energy, you know? You know? What happened to that real raw energy? You speaking up for the truth. And these usually be the unconscious type of niggas. Like, um, I'll throw out some names, but I don't care. You know, niggas is niggas. They gonna do what they do. But like Young Pharaoh, I started out watching him. Right, he was putting out a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. But I believe they got to him, and whatever they did to the man, I don't know. But I would appreciate if he would have stayed gone. You know, like once he disappeared, instead of coming back with this new image, with this new symbolic stuff, and like all of this occult type activity, all this idol worshiping type activity. You know. And then I see another few different people like I like Didi got a podcast, but I feel like he been I don't know. He might have been talked to or whatever because now he's still on this Erica Kirk stuff. I'm like, dude, we done with that, you know. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk or whatever. But I didn't know the guy, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about him. But honestly, I didn't know the man. Never heard of the man until he passed away. And right after that, everybody was focused on that while the government was being shut down. So I'm like, that shit not important, dog. If you really want to use your platform, let's speak on how we gonna move forward as a nation. You know, the man got unalive. That was that. Who knows what the real situation is? I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. The truth always comes to the light, whether it be through your force or through time. You know, and it takes time for the truth to do what it does. Just like it takes time for lies to build up and people to believe that lie. Just like it takes time for seasons to change. You can't rush it no matter what you try to do, no matter how you try to do it. All you're gonna do is watch it backfire on you. Like they say they got this weather manipulating machines, but I'm not saying it's not true and this is for educational purposes, entertainment and allegedly. Why even experience a winter time, right? If that was the case, why not just warm this up? And or when it's super hot, why not just sprinkle a little snow from time to time? You know, make it make sense. But the reason why is you can't force nature to be nature. You have to experience the process. And that's the same way I feel about truth, you know, like with these celebrities and the weird stuff they got going on, you just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen, how it happened. If that's what's important. Not saying that nobody who lose a life is not important. The situation for them having justice is important. My thing is when they tell you who to care about, who passed away, that's when it gets to me, right? Because people die every day. The news is not broadcasting everybody like if they're not important. We don't get a big thing every day on our timeline like we do for the birthdays about the people who passed away. Not saying that that's something that we should do or maybe we should. I don't know. I don't like seeing a lot of negativity. That's why I haven't really been advocating for that. But my whole thing is, my reason for saying it is that they pick and choose who they want you to focus on. And that's just that. You know, it's not by luck, it's not by skill, talent, it's by design who gets to be pushed on the platform and who doesn't. Like another guy that I watch, he watched the same few people that come from TikTok, and I'm like, who is these niggas? When I was on TikTok, I never seen, and of course, I only had my algorithm pushing certain information because I didn't really care too much about a lot anyway, and I still don't. But I do have another TikTok account that I did for shits and giggles, right? I still don't see these people on there, and the way that they be talking is like, who put y'all niggas as far as the forefront to speak for us and what we got going on and what we should be concerned about, right? And it's actually like three dudes. One guy I ain't gonna say about him, but it's two other ones. I ain't even gonna, I don't know their names because I don't be on TikTok watching them much. But I do see their faces a lot, and I know their faces by heart. One of them, he always saying "fool." He got dreadlocks. I'm like, I don't know what dude be on, but he be on. But he act like he a news reporter, and I don't like when niggas talk about food. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I like that guy though when he be saying that because he be on point with his shit. He don't be reaching. You know what I'm saying? He not trying to. I feel him more authentic than these other two guys, and the one that's even playing these clips on him. One guy I do rock with and continue to rock with is OG Dre Reacts. That's my guy. He be keeping it real. He take time and do real things, and he be putting out the real information. Also, all things Jenny, she do different content, but she be dope with her stuff. Like them two people I rock with, no matter what, I'll try to go watch their videos every time I'm on YouTube. After I'm done publishing my stuff and uploading, because I create the entertainment that they bring, enlightenment. So that's why I like to watch their channels. I don't just sit around for entertainment purposes. I like to be educated as well. Spend my time learning and elevating. I don't spend my time being wasted on frivolous things, shit that don't really mean anything to me or my future. Things that's not going to help me see brighter days. That's why you always see me talking about Robin Hood a lot, cryptocurrency, because this is what's been bringing money to my pockets. This what I be focused on as far as with the news and finances goes, because certain things do affect the market. Every Friday, some bullshit happen, so that's when you need to be paying attention to the news is on Friday, and then Monday morning for when the stocks open back up, so that you can hurry up and get in if you have some money to put in. It's just like I know this little glitch. I don't play video games, but when I did, I used to play GTA. And the reason I'm saying this is because offline version, when you play with Franklin, Michael, or Trevor, you can make money. And the way that I was making money was off the market. And one thing that I learned about the markets is the news affects the markets just like it does with forex. And I've been making a lot of money off the markets. I don't really do forex as much because I don't have cash out. And why I'm saying that is because I used to use my cash app to buy Bitcoin, and it's easy to transfer the money off of cash app to my brokerage account. I don't know any other really platform that you can do that with as far as a financial institution, so I don't do it anymore. It was convenient. It was easy to do it that way. Cash App took away my access to them as well as Chime, so that's a wrap. Life is about changes. Changes is going to happen, and you have to change with the times and/or adjust. And that's exactly what I did and what I'm doing. But yeah, I just wanted to put my little 2 cents out there. Like, man, don't be a fool hopping in these people's business, thinking you stopping ISIS or thinking you helping immigrants because you're not. What's going on is what's going to go on. There's nothing that we can do about it, but witness it happening, right? The only thing that you really can do is be a voice of reason. When you see some stuff going on like this, record it, send it to the news or to the right channels to be able to really take action. Minnesota, I pray for y'all. Not sure what y'all mindset is, but I see from what's going on every year. It seems like y'all got some major stuff going on over there as far as the public relations and the public, the public safety and the public. You guys don't seem to get along. The things that you guys are worried about don't seem to be helpful to anybody across the globe. The George Floyd situation was a big distraction. Like that should have never happened. This situation with the Somalians and all of the government money missing, that should never happen. This current situation with ISIS and the lady in the car should never happen. You guys really need to wake up and start thinking about the way that you think, because that mindset is putting a bad rep on y'all state, a very bad rep on the state of Minnesota. I've never been, and from what's going on, I really don't have any interest on visiting. I'm not saying where I am is any better, but it's just like this, right? When you see what's going on in the world and it just don't make any sense. Like it don't add up at all. Nothing about what's going on over there makes any sense to me. Why I would want to visit, why I would want to set roots in their soil or anything like that. You know, the major problem with there is their mindset, the public relations with the public safety and the public period. They don't seem to coexist for some reason. They don't coexist properly. They're always having stuff doing. They doing stuff that's getting slid under the rug, and when it comes to our attention, it makes it look like we need to decide on whether we're gonna side out with the public, with the state, or we're gonna side out with the government of the state. Everything that they got going on seems to be the public versus the state, and it seems to be a very bad coincidence or set of events that's going on. You know, you guys are trying to get a real bad rep on not having any control in public safety and public relations. One time is coincidence and mistake, all right? But two or three times is repeated behavior that you guys really need to check into and change. But yeah, be mindful of who you around and who you following up behind, because not everybody gonna lead you to Christ, and not everybody gonna lead you to an abundant life. You're gonna have an abundance of